Hello, I'm Jeff LeBeau, and I am going to be going against their claim that animal testing should be banned in the cosmetics industry. I'd like to start off with the point that animal testing is subsequently cheaper than the alternatives that are available. One of the best availables out there is actually Petri dish testing, which is where you essentially clone an animal on a small Petri dish. And what you're doing is these cloned cells, you're measuring the reactivity to the individual cells. This is all fine and well for cellular chemical movement. However, it has no effect on irritancy or anything like that that would be shown in a macroscopic view of the animal. In addition to this, it takes a lot more time and effort to create these Petri dishes and test them than it would be to use an animal. Another thing is that lab animals respond as a living organism. This part is very crucial to testing anything that would be used on a human, mainly due to the fluctuating chemicals that are going in animal cells and biotic systems that require constant monitoring of said organism. If you do something on something like a Petri dish or a computer model or some other form, it won't be able to give you the very minute details that a living organism would be. My third point is that cosmetic items are not ingested or injected into these animals. With cosmetic items, they're meant to be put on top of the skin, not injected or ingested. Tests that have used these have been subsequently disallowed due to their cruelty. My opponents mentioned the LD50 test and the Friesa test. Both of these have been disallowed in the United States by the EPA and have been banned in most of Europe. My other point is that current animal regulations are sufficient. There are many regulations put into effect by the EPA which are to regulate the food intake, the space given to these animals, and the care given to them. Their food must make quality and quantity regulations of the EPA, as well as giving them a clean zone, which actually gives them much better treatment than a lot of commercial pets. Another thing is that the FDA is regulating these businesses and need to be informed of the painkillers used and if the animal was in pain during the testing of this project. Because of these regulations, it is highly discouraging for any company to put out products that have been known to create sufficient pain or require painkillers to take. Another thing is that now in modern testing, thanks to the animal testing that has been done in the past, we know most of what is harmful to humans or animals and will stay away from these things. It's the basic logic of if you test something and it hurts them once, you test it again and it still hurts them. If you test it a third, a fourth, or a fifth time, it still will hurt them. You doing any of these further tests will basically be wasting you money that you're giving to the researchers to redo these tests that have already been affirmed, and killing animals. And I don't think people kill animals for the fun of it. Another thing is that when, due to the internet and the spread of information that is enveloped society, one does not need to test on animals as much as they used to. Because of this, it makes animal testing substantially decreased and a lack of need for the very dangerous and harmful experiments anymore. My last 2 points is the lack of sense of humiliation that animals have and the care that animals are given. Animals, unlike many humans, don't tend to have a sense of embarrassment or humiliation when they're given cosmetics. This makes for a much better testing subject because they won't complain of their nails clashing with their shirt or their fur for whatever reason. This basically makes testing a lot easier than it would on people, which could be a possibility due to the information that has been made available, although I'm not condoning that in any way. The last point is that the animals are being regulated by the FDA and EPA, such that they need to maintain basic decency for the animals. And not only do the testers have to abide by these very strict regulations, but the sellers, breeders, transporters, and government testing officials, academic testing, and commercial testing officials all also have to abide by these extremely strict standards and report directly to the EPA when anything goes down. Thank you for hearing my side.